Heaven and hell. The idea of heaven and hell exists in some form or another in all religions. This gives the religions a great hold upon the masses, keeping them completely under their sway, inducing them to do good and to keep from evil. Without this, it would be almost impossible, for man is always being tempted to evil, and great difficulties stand in his way when he attempts to do good, since the wicked seem to possess the kingdom of the earth, while the righteous look to the mercy of God. If no such promise had been given, no other reward, however great, would ever have united mankind in the religion of faith. The reward that God gives is quite different from any earthly comforts and riches, but in early times and even with most people now, it could only be expressed in the form of earthly rewards. That is why the apostles received the power to speak to every man in his own language. The early scriptures were given at a time when the evolution of the world was such that people were eager for whatever material comfort was obtainable. If it had been at this time, something else would have been promised. They were told, "If you will keep from sin, then you will be amid thornless iota trees and banana trees laden with fruit, the shade of them spreading over you, with water flowing and couches set up. Under them shall walk youths ever blooming, and bright ones with large eyes like hidden pearls. There shall be created for you a new creation, and maidens young and beautiful, with golden goblets and ewers and a cup of flowing wine. Brows ache not thereat, nor do the senses fail, and fruits of what you like best, and flesh of birds, whatever you desire. Ye shall hear therein no vain talk nor sin, only the cry, Peace, peace. When a child is told, if you do this, you shall have candy, however great the sacrifice is, it will do it, for it thinks, I shall have candy. The words in the scriptures about the reward of good deeds in heaven were spoken in a manner suited to the evolution of that time. The promises were made as an older person makes promises to a child and says, "Do not take another person's apple. I will give you another apple, even sweeter than this. Don't take another child's doll. I will give you another doll, even better than this." Heaven and hell. This was the only way of keeping unevolved people from undesirable actions. In the same way, mankind was threatened with punishment, such as being burnt by a scorching fire, made to drink from a fountain, boiling fiercely, having no food but thorns and thistles, as a mother says to her child, "You will get a whipping if you do so." The prophet once said, "Hell is for the wicked and heaven is striven for by the fools." Each religion has pictured heaven and hell according to familiar scenes upon earth, in whatever part of the world it might be. The heaven of the Hindu is an opera house. In it are the Upsaras and Gandharvas, the singers and dancers, and in their hell are snakes and scorpions, filth and worms. In the Christian heaven, the blessed become angels robed in white with white wings. They hold golden harps. They are in the blue sky, seated on white clouds, singing the praise of God, and their joy is in knowing God and in the communion of the blessed. The Christian hell is a blazing fiery furnace with lakes of brimstone and burning sulfur, where the worm dieth not and the fire is not quenched. The devils goad the damned with the red-hot prongs of their pitchforks. They are parched with thirst, and there they remain either forever or until they have paid the debt of their sins to the uttermost farthing. In the Muslim heaven, there will be houris and malaks to wait upon the inhabitants of Jannat, the heavenly attendants, whose faces will be luminous and radiant with heavenly beauty, and incomparably more handsome than the fair ones of the earth. Milk and honey flow in streams, and jewels and gems roll underfoot. Cooling drinks, the bracing breeze, and all fruits and delicious foods will always be ready. and fountains of Kauthar, the divine wine, will run. Every person who enters Jannat, whether he be a child or aged, will be young there. There will be the association of the holy, and the divine atmosphere will be felt throughout everything. Hell in the Muslim tradition is said to be like a raging fire, hotter beyond comparison than any fire on earth. There will be the company of those crying and shrieking, calling for water with flames in their mouths. Melancholy, miserable, helpless, and feeble will be the surroundings, and darkness, confusion, horror, and ignorance will be felt all around, while a devilish atmosphere will overwhelm all. One might ask why the different religions have given differing accounts of heaven and hell, but the prophets never spoke what is not true, so that if we take the philosophical view, we see that the meaning is that whatever we have idealized, we shall have. The Hindus had idealized music, singing, playing, and dancing. Therefore, this was their heaven. In Christianity, because from its foundation the thought of the distinction of sex was avoided, the holy place was held to be one where there are angels, sexless, singing to the God in the heavens above the clouds. In Arabia, in the hot sand, a person wishes for a cooling drink every moment, and the climate makes the people emotional and gives them the desire to admire youth and beauty. Hell in almost all religions has been described in some way or other as the place of torment, where all sources of torture are to be found. The picture of heaven or hell had its origin in the simplest revelation as it came to the mind of the prophet, a great horror at the idea of sin and a sense of joy and beauty at the sight of virtue. It expresses itself first in artistic imagination before it comes to the lips. The thought of horror at once brings pictures of fire, especially in the deserts and hot sand of Arabia, where water is the one salvation of all creatures, and fire is always the chief element of destruction. When the thought of joy and beauty comes, it at once pictures the beauty of the opposite sex, which has charmed the soul from the first day of creation and will do the same forever. Then all delights which appeal to the senses and all sights which one longs to see stood before the prophet's artistic view and were expressed in the language that his listeners were capable of appreciating. While the Sufi penetrates to the source of this idea, the simple believer revels in the words. All that the traditions say is understood literally by the faithful, but the Sufi perceives them differently. To him, curious are the heavenly expressions of beauty appearing before the eye which was open on earth, admiring the divine immanence on earth. God is beautiful and he loves beauty, as it is said in the Hadith. The whole creation was made that the beauty within the Creator might manifest in his creation, that it might be witnessed. The same tendency is working throughout the whole circuit. God's eye sees the heavenly beauty through the godly on their way towards the eternal goal. No soul knows what is reserved for them, what joy will refresh their eyes as a reward for what they have done, says the Quran. Honey is the essence of all flowers. The essence of the whole being is wisdom. Wisdom is the honey which is found in heaven. Milk is the pure and essential substance prepared in the breast of the mother. The essential sustenance of our being is the spirit, which is pure like milk, and by spirituality we drink that milk on which our soul is nourished. It is said in the Bible, "Man doth not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God." The earthly treasures such as gems and jewels, which the godly have renounced in their life upon earth, are rolling like pebbles, worthless beneath their feet. To the seer, earthly wealth, which man pursues all his life, becomes in the end like pebbles rolling under his feet. Kauthar, wine, means the intoxicating influence of spiritual ecstasy, which is hidden in the heart as love. This purifies the mind from all impressions made upon it during the life on earth, thus preparing the soul for the at-one-ment